a nice looking bike, boy.
G'day guys, it's been 2.5 weeks since the last video. Inspection done this morning, roadworthy, all good. So now that it's been through with all of the stuff that it needed to be street legal, let's get stuck into putting some cool stuff on this bike. How good? Part of the consideration for extending this guard was to make it a similar length to these fishtails. I've had them for a while and I knew that I was going to use them. The guards come out a little bit lower, but I'm not really concerned about that for now. Yeah, I'm really stoked with these fishtails on there. I'm not going to pretend like I haven't chucked them on for a test fit and checked out what they look like before. So I knew what I was in for, but yeah, they look sick on here. Before I fire it up and we see what this thing sounds like, we've got one more thing to do while I'm stuffing around back here. I've got in a set of custom craft afterburner blinker lights. They've done a really good job packaging here. I've had them out before. Again, it's not like I haven't test fitted them, but these are going to look bloody unreal up here. It's got a little bit of old school Cadillac about it. A little bit of Top Gun if you're that way inclined. So we'll pop these things off, throw these on, and see how it looks. They finished the back end of this off. Absolutely unreal. Righto. I guess now with all that done, it's time to fire it up, see how those fishtails sound.
Wow, that's really loud.
Yeah, thanks. Took the restrictor plate off, give the Red Dragon a little more juice. But let's keep that on the down low. It's not exactly street legal.
Oh man, that sounds so much better than those stock pipes. It goes pretty well without saying. It's gone from a sewing machine into something that actually sounds half decent. So not only do these fishtails look really cool, they sound so good too. I'm not sure what it's going to sound like on that GoPro. It's pointing pretty directly at it, so it might just be a lot of muffled noise and RIP headphone users, but yeah, wow. Already sort of 15 minutes of work and this bike is radically transformed. But we're not done yet, so let's keep going. And this should almost be a crime to cover up something like this, but it's got to be done. We got work to do. These bars aren't going to cut it anymore. Let's get this stuff all changed over. a bike like this than more chrome. 14-inch bars are now on. I didn't hit record before. I thought I did, but I didn't. So you didn't get to see me mucking around and installing them. It went pretty easy. I have to extend these wires up here to the switch box because I'm going to run it all internally. So they need to be a little bit longer, not too much, but to run up the inside. And the thing that sucks about, I know for sure these early model Softails, I'm not sure if it's the same across all of the big twins, but definitely in the later model ones, they've got a couple of smaller clips, so you can just feed them through. These ones have got a really big clip, so I'll cut the wires, join in a section once I work out how much more I need, and run the new wires through the bars. But we will, yeah, everything else is going to reach, so I'm pretty happy with that. I'm not going to have too many dramas there. Just got to check the throttle cables, but if they don't reach, it's not the end of the world. I'll just get some off a street bob or something like that and we'll bang them on. But for now, we'll get all the tops done. This is the old bottom clamp, and this is the new one. That hole there is the clutch switch. Now I can just push that in and leave it depressed all the time, but it does cut into where it clamps onto the bars, and it's probably not the best thing anyway. Obviously be able to start it in gear and whatnot. Yeah, I'm gonna have to drill this one out. Righto, so what I did, this one with the hole in it, banged a bit of painter's tape around it, traced the hole kind of roughly. It's not pretty, but it's only got to mark where the hole's got to go. So now I'll just center punch it and drill through it. I don't mean to toot my own horn, but beep beep, man. Basically a 10th dan black belt in using a power drill. So now that I've done that, let's check that it fits first before I hype myself up too much, and bang it on and get at least one side of the bars done. Here comes the fun part. I've got to lift the tank up, unplug those pins, unpin the connectors. That one's probably going to need about 4 to 5 inches of extra wires hooked on. So I'm guessing the other side's going to be pretty similar. But yeah, won't be the first guy in history who could have done with a few extra inches. These are the wires running down from the top of the bars. That's the plug they've got to get to. Tucks in there. So I've probably only got to extend on 6 inches there. Same thing on this side. They all sort of come finish about there. And I've got to get to that grey plug in there. So I'll extend some wires, but here's some APs. Chrome switch block housings. Yeah, things looking better and better with every turn. It's getting pretty late, so I'll probably pack up here and tackle some of this stuff tomorrow. But it's been a good afternoon. Good first afternoon of getting a bit done. Well, watching wiring jobs is boring. But I've extended the wires on that there, put some shrink over it, so hopefully that'll reach the plug in there. I've done the same on the other side, so we'll get these clipped back together and then test out that everything still works. I didn't touch on this before, but got myself a set of these Vans grips. Not a real big Vans fan or anything, but I just really like the colour, that gum colour. I had a few plans for something else as well. I said I wasn't too keen on the tank bib that came with the bike. I found it. It's a Willie G one, another Skull Special. So my dad's made me this custom leather one to bang on there. So it'll look something like that. Should match with them pretty well. It's a little bit different, but I think it really goes with the bike as well. Oh, I've got the bars done now. Master cylinder's all bled up. I had to change the throttle and idle cables over. I didn't realise until I put these bars on, but the old ones weren't going to reach. So big thanks to Alan down at Fearless Motorcycles. He said come and dig through a bin of what I've got here. It was a Friday arvo, so it saved me having to order anything and wait. It's another long weekend this weekend, so it would have been even longer. The existing ones were just full bar tight, so they weren't going to work. The throttle had no movement in it, and that's how I'm going to run it. I'm not going to bother changing over for chrome switches or anything like that. I think the black ones look heaps better in the chrome. I did order a chrome bolt kit. I didn't realise when I got these that they didn't have the bolts with them. So they are on order, but black ones are in for now. Hopefully I can ride this thing tomorrow morning. I am still waiting on some stuff. This isn't, I know I keep saying it's not finished, and no one's project ever is, but I do have some other stuff that I'm waiting on. But yeah, I'm not gonna not ride it just because I'm waiting on a few other things. This thing's ready to roll. So tomorrow morning we will take this thing out on the road, barring it being raining sideways or anything like that. We'll have a ride tomorrow. So yesterday I went for first shakedown ride on it. I haven't had a chance to ride it up until then. I just wanted to get a feel for how things are, so I've got to make a few little adjustments. The shifter peg was a little bit high for my liking, same with the brake. The clutch is sort of right out, so I'll adjust them, and then we'll do a few more things to it. Alright, so I wanted to run an extra wire into here. I'm going to have to run it through this gap. Yeah, I don't know about getting it out all in the same spot. I'll see what I can do. I might end up having to poke another hole through this and just run it through this grommet best I can. Out the back of this light fitting, and then up through this. There's a little bit of wiggle room around the edge of it, so I'm hoping I can get it up the side there, which will bring me up to the top bit, into the housing, through that hole, and then I'm just gonna have to put a washer with a groove cut in it to run it out the side.
How on earth did you even think of this?
How does any genius figure out his inventions? I mean, how did Leonardo DiCaprio figure out about gravity? Because the bitch was sleeping underneath a tree and an apple hit him on his head.
This is amazing.
So here's what I've managed to come up with. With a little nylon washer down there, and I just cut a groove in it. Same as that one. Runs down through the indicator, pokes out the bottom here, runs inside. Now there is going to be a little wire hanging down. I can't do much about that. I couldn't poke it through there and run the extra wire inside the existing cable, but I mean it's going to be an inch, you're barely going to see it. I'll even zip tie it on the inside there, so it's as tight as it can be, but this will get us, once I do a little termination on this wire, we should have halos. Well, we better check that they work. This tank bib that my dad made, he decided he'd make a matching one here for the seat, so I was originally always going to get the seat retrimmed with a tan one, but I kind of don't mind the breakup, tan, black, tan, up onto the black dash. Yeah, I think it looks good, so I'll run it for a bit anyway. But for the next thing that I'm planning, I have to take the seat off, so we'll whip that off and we'll see what's happening next. So what am I doing that requires the seat to come off? We're going to drop this thing a bit. I picked these up a year and a bit ago, so they've been sitting around. I always had it planned. I know that, yeah, you know, you can get all sorts of different stuff. When it comes to rear suspension, the reason I've gone with the slam tail and the hydraulic unit is because that you can run these with, I guess, essentially the equivalent to an air system would be aired out. So I don't know what you call it, hydraulic oiled out. But these still have suspension in them. It's not like an air system when you drop all the air out and there's nothing there anymore and it's just like a real rigid. You can drop these down. These have 2.5 inches of adjustment, so it's a fair bit. But yeah, to have the ability to ride it dropped, and 2.5 inches is going to bring that rear end pretty close to the ground. So yeah, we'll get them in. Hello. We got the old chocks out, so I've been following the instructions here. Luckily when I bought this kit, they were partly already done, because they'd been previously used. I didn't have to dick around and take apart the old shocks like it says to in the instructions. So it's just a straight swap, which is good for me. But I've just got to hope that they've been all done right and they work. I mean, they came out of a bike, they work, so I'll route some cabling up here, flick these up, and we'll see what happens. Well, I got the slam tail installed last night. The battery on the GoPro ran dead. Didn't have a backup, so I didn't get to show you the install, but that's all pretty boring stuff anyway. What is exciting is this.
You're in the office, baby. Going up.
Drops it pretty low. Yeah, that's sick. I'm real happy with that. The bike was looking good, but it needs a little bit something extra on this side. So we're going to throw a toolbox on there. little thing done. We're nearly there. So we'll see what's to come from there. Not quite finished with the chrome trim pieces yet. I've got this engine guard that I'm going to throw on, and that will, for now, just about do it as far as trim pieces and stuff. Yep, happy with that. So I guess there's really only one big thing left. You should all be able to work out what it is. This has got to go. You might remember this wheel from the Deluxe when it was delivered. Some pretty nasty damage in the sidewall. Gouge in the rim somewhere. It's there. Smooth rim, doesn't suit the bike the way it is now, so
I think we can do better than that.
rather than chuck the whole thing out, I'm going to de-spoke it, and I'm going to reuse the hub for something else that I've got planned for the front. So bear with me while I pull this thing apart. Yes, you're right. It would have been much quicker to cut this out with bolt cutters or an angle grinder, but I didn't. We'll get this thing cleaned up now, and we'll see if we can find another use for it. What's going on? This isn't the shed. The last piece of the puzzle is ready to go, nearly. I've got to do a little bit of work. I was waiting on something back from the chromers. Some of you might know what it is, but for those of you that don't, do a bit of a reveal. I got this rim made because the delay on them into Australia was massive. There was nothing local, so I had a guy up in Queensland make this one for me and then ship it down, and it's been at the chromers for 16 weeks, so it's been down there a while. As it is in this time, having anything done by specialist services takes a while. This is no exception. So this is a 21 by 3.5. That's part of the reason why I couldn't get anything. There was nothing local that were like high quality stuff. So yeah, this is all custom made. What I'm going to do, I already had the spokes. I'm going to use the hub off the bike because I know it works. I've got new rim tape, a tube, a tyre, and I'm going to lace it all and then get one of my mates who's a bit more skilled and done this a few more times to true it up for me. So I don't reckon we waste any more time. Let's throw this thing together. Done. Righto, so my battery ran out and I couldn't be bothered waiting for it to charge up. I wanted to get this done, so we are laced. We just need to true it up.
That looks sweet to me.
We've got this Willwood disc. Righto, what I've done here, I had to clearance the dog bowl with the 16-inch rims on. The spokes were shorter, so they were more on an angle like that in towards the middle. When I've gone to the 21, they've come out and the spokes were fouling on the dog bowl, so I wanted to run it. So I just ran some tape around the edge and just sort of kept clearancing it. I'd go down, get rid of one colour, go to the next. No, that's not enough, so it took me a couple to get it right, but we got some clearance here now, so I can get this front end all back together, and I'll take that off and that too. Use a little bit of grease and wax on there, get that off. Now I know with this dog bowl I could have adjusted the spokes and moved everything over, but that's smack bang in the middle there. I didn't want to mess with it too much, so look, it was just as easy to get into it with the grinder and take those edges off. So yeah, I'm happy with that. It's not hitting on anything, it's not rubbing. Happy days. So I just got one more thing to finish this front end off. Nothing like a set of nut covers. It sort of finishes the front end off. I was going to wet and dry and get this front end, these lower forks, all shiny, but you sort of open a Pandora's box there of never-ending work. Once you do it, you've got to do it again every 3 to 4 months, and I don't really feel like taking the fork legs out or taking the whole front end apart to get to it, so I'll leave that as is. If I do decide that I want to do something down the track with it, I'll probably take them off and put some chrome ones in. But for now, that's everything I've got to do to this thing. Get it off, wash that. The back wheel's looking a bit, or the back tyre, white wall's looking a bit average, so give it a bit of a clean up with some of that gear. But this thing's ready to come off the stand.
Yeah, nigga, I'm still fucking with you. Still waters run deep. Still Snoop Dogg and D.R.E. 9-9, nigga.
Guess who's back?
Still doing that shit, Andre?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Check me out. It's still Dre Day, nigga. AK, nigga. Though I've grown a lot, can't keep it home a lot. Cause when I frequent the spots that I'm known to rock, you hear the bass from the truck when I'm on the block. Ladies, they pay homage, but haters say Dre fell off. How, nigga, my last album was The Chronic. They wanna know if he still got it. They say raps changed, they wanna know how I feel about it.
You ain't up on things.
Dr. Dre is the name, I'm ahead of my game. Still puffin' my leaf, still fuck with the beats. Still not loving police. Still rock my khakis with a cuff and a crease. Still got love for the streets, reppin' 213. Still the beats bang, still doing my thing. Since I left, ain't too much change. Still
I'm representing for the gangsters all across the world.
Still
hitting them corners and them lolos, girl.
Still taking my time to perfect the beat. And I still got love for the streets. It's the D.R.E.
I'm representing for the gangsters all across the world.
Still
hitting them corners and them lolos, girl.
Still taking my time to perfect the beat. And I still got love for the streets. It's the D.R.E. Since the last time you heard from me, I lost some friends. Well, hell, me and Snoop, we dipping again. Kept my ear to the streets, signed Eminem. He's triple platinum, doing 50 a week. Still, I stay close to the heat. And even when I was close to defeat, I rose to my feet. My life's like a soundtrack, I wrote to the beat. Treat rap like Cali weed, I smoke till I'm sleep. Wake up in the AM, compose a beat. I bring the fire till you're soaking in your seat. It's not a fluke, it's been tried, I'm the truth. Since turn out the lights from the world-class wrecking crew, I'm still at it, after mathematics. In the home of drive-bys and acmatics. Swap meets, sticky green and bad traffic. I dip through, then I give you the D.R.E.
I'm representing for the gangsters all across the world.
Still
hitting them corners and them lolos, girl.
Still taking my time to perfect the beat. And I still got love for the streets. It's the D.R.E.
I'm representing for the gangsters all across the world.
Still
hitting them corners and them lolos, girl.
Still taking my time to perfect the beat. And I still got love for the streets. It's the D.R.E. It ain't nothing but mohawk shit. Another classic CD for y'all to vibe with. Whether you're coolin' on the corner with your fly bitch, lay back in the shack, play this track. I'm representing for the gangsters all across the world. Still
hitting them corners and them lolos, girl.
I'll break your neck, damn near put your face in your lap. Niggas try to be the king, but the ace is back.
So if you ain't up on things,
Dr. Dre be the name, still running the game, still got it wrapped like a mummy. Still ain't tripping, love to see young blacks get money. Spend time out the hood, take their moms out the hood, hit my boys off with jobs. No more living hard, barbecues every day, driving fancy cars. Still gon' get mine
I'm
regardless.
representing for the gangsters all across the world.
Still
Hitting them corners and them lolos, girl.
Still taking my time to perfect the beat, and I still got love for the streets. It's the
I'm
D.R.E.
representing for the gangsters all across the world.
Still
Hitting them corners and them lolos, girl.
Still taking my time to perfect the beat, and I still got love for the streets. It's the
I'm
D.R.E.
representing for the gangsters all across the world.
Still
Hitting them corners and them lolos, girl.
Still taking my time to perfect the beat, and I still got love for the streets. It's the D.R.E.
Alright, so that's it. That's the build done. There's a few other little things, some trim and other little bits and pieces that are on back orders and whatever, but I'm not going to make you wait for them for the last video. This thing's all pretty well finished now. It's such a joy to ride. It rides beautifully, especially after what it's been through. I was a little bit nervous jumping on it for the first time. Yeah, I've ridden it a few times. This isn't the first time, but this is the first time I could get someone to come out and film with me. It's winter here now, so picking an afternoon where there's a little bit of sun and people are free and available to help out is a bit tricky. This is it, no more videos. The bike is finished. I do have some other projects and stuff that I've been working on. So if you would like to see me do some more videos, yeah, I guess I'm going to be one of those YouTubers now and say like and subscribe and you'll get notified when they come out. They probably won't be as far apart as this one has been and spaced out. I do have some that I've already finished on the sly. You might have seen in the background of some of these videos. But yeah, I'm stoked. It's done. It's been a long process. Everywhere you ride it, it's one of those bikes that turns heads. I don't want to say it being big noting myself or anything, but it's what happens. The sort of area that it's in, this is what I built it for. Cruising Espies. Yeah, it's a beach cruiser. This is its home. So for now, that's it. Cheers for watching, joining me along as I've built it. I've learnt heaps. There's been nothing that's really been easy. I've had to fight the whole way to get this thing to where it is now, but I think you'll agree it's really worth it. But that'll wrap it up from me. Fade out with a nice sunset. Cheers everyone, hope you enjoyed it.
Ride the Harley into the sunset. Ride the Harley into the sunset. Ride the Harley into the sunset. Ride the Harley into the sunset.